H1Z1 on PlayStation 4 is great, but I think it's getting very boring already. I think a lot of people have stopped playing, and I think it's kind of getting stale with a lot of people already. And I just want to talk about in this video why I think people are finding it stale, and why, you know, maybe it's not as good as it could be. If you have a look on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, social media in general, you'll see that there's not really a lot of hype for H1Z1 compared to other games at the moment. It's got over 8 million downloads, which is insane. Really well done for that huge amount of downloads. But I don't think people have really made the switch over from Fortnite. I think a lot of players tried it and thought, you know what, this isn't that great, and have went straight back over to Fortnite again, unfortunately. Hopefully I can let you guys know my reasons why I think that's happened, and if you can agree or disagree with me in the comments below, I would appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think. Now, I'm going to preface this video by saying I know it's a beta, but you have to consider that this game's been out on PC for 3 years. They're making the same mistakes over again, which I think that's a big part to do with why the game's not really hyped and like people aren't getting super excited about it. They've made some really key mistakes that they've already made on PC, and it is kind of frustrating as somebody who's played for like a year and a half on PC to see the same mistakes over and over again. But once again, I know it's in beta, so make sure you guys let H1Z1 know what you want to be fixed, and they probably will fix it if you let them know. But in no particular order, I'm going to talk first of all about looting. So whenever you spawn into the map, pretty much you've got about a minute to loot before the gas comes in. And there's a bunch of cars everywhere, which we will talk about later. That's obviously a big problem, but we're not going to talk about cars just yet. But you can only find an SMG, pistols, crossbow, and shotgun. My problem with the looting system is, one, I think the crossbow shouldn't be on the ground at all. I think it's like, it should be really good for cars, but not so good for people. It's really annoying. It's such an annoying gun. It's honestly way too effective, I think, as well, for people who are, you know, half decent with it. You can shoot people behind cover, it doesn't break armor, you know, it's direct impact, damaging people. If it was good against cars, that'd be understandable, to get rid of car 1Z1, but I think it's kind of annoying just to get shot off the crossbow, considering it doesn't, you know, have any kind of counter. I think that should be put in the crates. Now, I think there should be some guns, or maybe more military crates, added to the ground, so you have more of a chance of getting an AK, an AR, KH-43, whatever it may be. There should be more decent rifles. What I'd like to see is potentially just like an AR-15, like a standard AR-15, even with no red dot sight or anything, on the ground, so that there's some kind of assault rifle you can find on the ground, and, you know, just add a little bit more variety to the loot table on the ground. Secondly, let's talk about the shooting in the game. As you guys know, the aiming and controls, the aim acceleration is very clunky. It's hard to make, you know, precise movements with your joystick and stuff like that. I think in general, the shooting system's what's kind of really killing it. You know, it feels really clunky aiming down scopes, especially with the sniper rifle. It's got an 8x scope, and it feels like you've got like free sensitivity in Call of Duty with a sniper. That's pretty much what it feels like on max sensitivity. So I think they've got to do something with that. The aim acceleration and the clunkiness of shooting is something that really kills it for me personally. With the assault rifles and every gun in the game except for the sniper and shotguns, there's bloom. So if you guys don't know what bloom is, it's basically bullet spread. So you'll put your dot right on somebody and your bullets won't always hit. Your bullets go off in a random pattern or within a fixed pattern of your crosshair. So like the more you spray, the more your bullets go a little bit sporadic. And, you know, if you tap, your bullets don't always go straight, but they're more likely to go straight if you just like tap shoot. I think that doesn't belong in PlayStation 4 with the current armor system. So I would suggest that they get rid of that completely, or nerf the armor completely. Because, you know, sometimes you're putting a ton of shots into people. And, you know, like, if you take games like Fortnite where you can, like, one shot to the head with a deagle, and it feels amazing, or, like, one shot to the head with a sniper, you know, you can, like, 2-tap with ARs and stuff like that. And, you know, you've got this kind of system where you've got bloom, and you've got, you know, the ADS with pistols and stuff, and ADS in general, which is a bit harder than third person. And then you've got all this armor, you've got the bullets that aren't going straight, and then you've got bullet drop, you've got damage fall off. It's just way too much protection, I feel like. I've heard a lot of you guys saying this, that it's almost as if that they think everybody on a console's a noob or something. I kind of tend to agree with that statement a little bit. It's like they're trying to protect people too much to the extent where it's harder to kill people, you know, just to try and keep people alive and, you know, so people don't get frustrated. A lot of console players are very competitive, I know that for a fact. It takes that away from them, and it, you know, there's no hype. Like, you don't see people on Twitter posting, like, you know, insane 4 pieces with the M40. It just simply doesn't happen. Or you don't see people, like, you know, posting these insane clips, these insane plays, because simply there's not enough damage or too much armor, and the weapons aren't accurate enough. I think they should really focus in on the bullet speed and bullet drop, and get rid of that bullet inaccuracy thing. I mean, that's why people play H1Z1 instead of Fortnite. You know, it's more realistic, bullets go straight. It really messes the game up a lot. And whenever you're trying to shoot people out of cars and your bullets aren't going straight, it's a pain in the ass. That's probably one of my biggest complaints. You know, too much armor and too much weapon inaccuracy. Definitely I hope they resolve that and make the time to kill a lot faster. With the M40, I want to see a one-shot kill to a helmet. If they've got a level 2 helmet, the tactical helmet, maybe save them, but still do damage through helmets. Whenever you're shooting people through armor, you know, it should protect you, but it shouldn't completely nullify damage. I feel like you should be taking some kind of damage. The same way PUBG works it. You know, your armor's got a HP, it protects you for X amount of damage, but you still do damage when you shoot through people's armor. I think that's the way it needs to be. You guys can let me know in the comments below, but just the slow time to kill and the lack of insane plays and stuff like that, it really is killing the vibe. With the M40, I just want to say one more thing about it. If they want to make it less powerful, just add more bullet drop. Slower bullet speed and more bullet drop would make the M40 less OP, and it would allow you to add a one-shot headshot to that thing, because it's harder to use, but if you're good, you can obviously land your headshots and you can be rewarded for doing so. The movement system's a little bit clunky as well, so like, you know, there's a lot of locks and animations that are very clunky. Whenever you turn and then turn the other way, you get locked in place for a second before you can run again. The actual running animation's very unresponsive, so it's hard to get in and out of animations. Whenever you're aiming down sights, it's very, very clunky. Once again, I know it's in beta, but these are measures that were put on PC to stop people from having too good of movement. So there's a lock whenever you run left and right or crouch too much, where your movement gets restricted. Because you're using a mouse and keyboard, you can make a lot more sharper movements and a lot more precise movements on PC. Using a DualShock controller and getting locked, it feels really, really bad. So I really hope that they do fix that. Ultimately, whenever the game feels more smooth, more responsive, you're getting insane kills, you're going absolutely nuts with a sniper. You're hitting like 2 taps and 3 taps. And, you know, one tapping with a sniper, you know, with a guy moving in a car, you know, that ultimately is going to help with the car problem as well, because people are not going to like just drive about and try to knock you over and like over and over again. Why can you run somebody over once? Like, you literally just drive over somebody and they're dead. Like, why can you not one-shot somebody in the head with a sniper, but you can drive somebody over with a car, which is so easy to find, by the way. My suggestions with the cars is, for the first minute of the game, show where cars are, and then after that, you know, you have to find them yourself and memorize them yourself. You know, being spoon-fed cars is not good for the game, because, as you guys have seen at the end of the match, it's literally destruction derby. People are just driving about, trying to run you over. It's a pain in the ass, and nobody wants to get out of their car and fight, because, like, even whenever the car goes on fire, it takes 3 times as many bullets to blow the car up after it goes on fire. It's just really, really frustrating for me. As somebody who loves H1Z1 on PC and console, I love both games. But just for me to see that, it's so frustrating. I think the game could be so much better. And I think they're really sleeping on it and trying too hard to make it easier for noobs and trying too hard to make people, you know, not rage quit for getting insta-killed. I mean, ultimately it's a game, dude. You know, people are going to die and people are going to quit. You can protect people and, you know, take the power out of good players' hands because people are not trying to die. People want to run people over. It's not going to last. So talking a little bit more about cars, bullets need to do more damage to cars. They need to have less fuel or higher fuel consumption. There needs to be less car spawns to begin with. And what I'd like to see is the final couple of safe zones be extended a little bit by like an extra 30 seconds to a minute, meaning that there's more time for people to drive around, more time for people to get shot, so that it's coming down to shooting more than it's coming down to final circles. The final circle and the safe zone should not determine who the winner is. It should be the best player that wins, or most of the time. So, I mean, if that's the goal they're looking for, make the safe zones a little bit longer at the end, make the gas do more damage. So people who are just sitting in the gas are gonna honestly die. Like, you can't sit in the gas, you have to move to the safe zone. That's the whole point of Battle Royale games. You move from one spot to another. If you stay in the wrong place, you're dead. You know, people hiding in the gas and driving about in the gas with their cars and shit. It's just a pain in the ass. So one last thing about final circles. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the final circles are pretty much predetermined. So whenever they reach a certain point, it's going to end in a predetermined spot. I think these safe zones really need tuned so that the final circles are maybe even a little bit bigger and have more cover, so that you're basically guaranteed either tree cover, a couple of rocks, a building, you know, a truck, whatever it may be. Like a couple of broken down cars. Every single final circle in H1Z1 has to have some kind of cover. I finished in final circles where it's, you know, a patch of ground with nothing in it. That comes down to complete luck, and, you know, whoever's got the best car pretty much, that's who wins that game. Or, you know, obviously if somebody's just a beast and beasts on people, they will win, of course, but, you know, that's not good. You know, like, whenever it's a progression to get to the final circle, and then you've got this anticlimax where, you know, it all ends in this tiny little circle and everybody's just driving about and there's no cover. It kind of makes you think, like, why did I go through all of this just so I can get down to this tiny little circle with nothing in it? it has to be a little bit bigger, I think. The final circle has to be a little bit bigger. And like I said, the circles leading up to the final circle need to be a little bit longer to allow for more match progression, more fights in the, ending circles, just to allow the game to organically flow better. Whenever you're getting pushed and pushed and pushed, it feels a little bit rushed. If they let the game feel a little bit more organically played out, it's going to feel a lot better, and, the car thing's not going to be as much of a problem. I didn't mean this to be a rant video. I know I kind of ranted on a bit, but, those are just my thoughts. I am passionate about H1Z1. I think it can do well. I think the potential is there. I think it can be one of the best BR games, especially with the new map coming to PC, which will inevitably come to console in a few months. One more thing I'd like to see is new guns and new content. I'm sure if you guys have ever used the LMG, it's absolutely insane. Like, it's so good. And like, I love it. I don't want them to nerf it or anything, but I want to see more different options in the golden airdrop. I want to see like a golden sniper, which does more damage. I want to see like an AK-74U, like a golden SMG. I want to see, some really cool stuff in the final airdrops to kind of give her a little bit of variety and just mean that everybody's not running about with an LMG, because honestly that thing is absolutely insane. It's really, really strong. I love it. And that comes into the weapon balancing a little bit, which I do want to talk about. KH-43 and Marauder do not compete with the LMG whatsoever, because of one thing, bloom, and fire rate and all that kind of stuff. And the LMG's got more damage, higher fire rate. The recoil doesn't seem to be that high anymore. Completely shreds cars. It's got 100 rounds in the magazine or clip or whatever it's called. So like, in comparison, if you get an LMG and you're fighting other people with SMGs, Marauders, whatever, you're destroying everybody. So I want to see a little bit more variety with the guns and a little bit better balancing there. Talking about gun balance, I think the KH-43 and the Marauder probably need to be better, a little bit stronger, more accuracy, maybe a little bit more damage to make them quick and clean. So you can 2 or 3 tap people. You can actually, get some kind of benefit from tapping it instead of fully spraying it. That's something that needs to come into the game to allow better players who can control recoil to have some kind of benefit to not just fully spray people. There has to be some kind of thing there where if you're a good player and you tap, if you take your time to place your shots, there needs to be some kind of reward for that. People say the scout rifle needs buffed. I love the scout rifle. It's probably my favorite gun in the game because you can 2-tap people with it and you can get really satisfying kills with it. Maybe the damage to the body is a little bit too low. Sometimes it takes like 7 shots to kill somebody in the body. Generally maybe that should be a little bit lower. But the 2-tapping mechanic with the scout rifle feels amazing. I absolutely love that gun. I hope they don't nerf it or do anything too bad with the scout rifle. MP7, I think it should be reserved for closer quarters as a direct competitor to the shotgun. Shouldn't be really used for range. Once again, that plays into maybe adding the AK and AR to the ground, to make that, you've got your close range guns, the shotguns and pistols. You've got your medium range guns, the AR-15 and the AK, and then obviously, AR is more like medium to long range, and then you've got your airdrop guns, and hopefully they've added in more new guns to the game and stuff like that to keep a lot more variety. But that's definitely, something I do want to see. With the AK-47, it's a pretty random gun. It's got really high recoil, and it's got a lot of bloom. If you spray the AK, just look at where your bullets are going. They're flying everywhere. Like, you wouldn't even be aiming on somebody at times, and the bullet just randomly hits them. That gun's a bit of a joke, to be honest, so I'm hoping they do work on a recoil system as opposed to kind of a random number generated your bullets might hit system. I think that would work a lot better, and it would just make a lot more satisfaction for the game. So I'm pretty much done ranting. Hopefully you guys didn't take it the wrong way. I do really like this game. The things to take away from this video is cars should not be one-shotting you. Cars should be weaker, bullets need to be more accurate, more damage, more satisfying kill mechanics, more satisfying movement mechanics, and less clunky feeling movement, better feeling sensitivities, and just generally making the game a little bit more hardcore so it does feel good to kill people, and it's not just basically trying to run people over for the entire match. Make the final circles a little bit longer, and make more organic playstyle towards the end of the game, instead of making it just push, push, push. Make the gas stronger so people can't sit in there. And I think honestly if they'd done all of that stuff, they'd be onto a winner, really. Just keep bringing out new content, like the airstrike grenades are coming pretty soon. Bring in new guns, like new golden guns for the airdrop. Imagine like a Desert Eagle which could one-shot you through the helmet and stuff, like it'd be insane. So bring in some really insane cool guns, and honestly it'll be off to a winner. I think it is amazing, and I think a lot of people are willing to, keep working with it and keep trying it. Ultimately, if the game stays, the same kind of way it is now, people will just keep filtering back over to Fortnite where their friends are and stuff like that. So H1Z1 needs to do something. There needs to be more clips on social media of people getting 6 pieces with the, or like 5 pieces with the M40. But that's it for me, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video. Like I said, let me know in the comments down below what you think. and leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. I'm going to be doing a lot more H1Z1 content, both on PC, on the brand new map coming soon, and on console as well. So stay tuned guys, turn on notifications if you want to see the next video. And this has been KingFlies guys, thank you very much for watching, good luck and peace out.
It's okay to say that we expect.
It's Hoodie Allen. What up, Marina? You know how we do. They telling me to take the safe route. This is the detour. Hoodie, baby, you ain't seen a kid like this before him. Late night shooting for the moon like Warren. Them hits.